25 million years ago, a new species appeared on Earth, the great apes. Among them was one family with extraordinary abilities. They were our distant ancestors. Through evolution, they gave rise to new, more advanced species. They ventured far and wide and invented hunting, power, tools, love, and soon war. They competed with the great beasts, conquered the planet, adapted to every climate. They became us, Homo sapiens, modern man. If you're using these to fall asleep, that's literally why I make them, so subscribe maybe, and tell me, where are you and what time? I check comments, and it's like Berlin at breakfast, Boston at bedtime, all at once. Where and when did our lineage begin? Who was the first of us? What is that quality that makes us human, the difference that sets us apart from other animals? Thanks to the latest scientific discoveries, we are about to take a journey into the depths of time to find out which of our ancestors took the decisive step and gave birth to the first man. Our family story begins 25 million years ago at a time of intense global warming, with the vast Tethys Ocean fragmenting and closing off in the Near East, humid forests spread north from Africa. Our distant ancestors followed the forest and rapidly populated the ancient world. They ruled the canopy, 100 different species. Gigantopithecus, Ramapithecus, and Sivapithecus stretched from Europe to modern-day China. This is the age of the planet of the apes. Which of these great primates is our common ancestor? The Mediterranean coast 13 million years ago in modern-day Spain, a humid tropical forest. Sunlight filters through leaves the size of umbrellas. Water drips constantly from branches that have never known drought. The air is thick with moisture and the sweet smell of rotting fruit. Here lives a creature with exceptional abilities. This acrobat is Pierolopithecus. The animal kingdom has never seen such a marvel. This great ape is the origin of our family, but how? What makes him our great-grandfather? We are only beginning to understand. Watch him move. Every gesture is calculated, every grip precise. His hands are different from any creature before him. 5 fingers that can work independently, a thumb that opposes the others. He can grasp branches with the delicacy of picking a single berry, or the strength to support his entire body weight. Pierola lives in the trees and mainly eats fruit. He weighs about 35 kilograms, too heavy to walk on the thin branches like smaller primates, so he hangs. His shoulders rotate in ways that would tear the muscles of other mammals. His wrists can turn almost completely around. This flexibility allows him to swing from branch to branch, covering distances that would take others minutes to navigate. But watch closely. Something else happens. Sometimes he ends up on 2 feet. He can walk. Contrary to common belief, the ability to walk upright wasn't developed on the ground, but up in the branches. Bipedalism was not man's invention, but the apes. This changes everything we thought we knew. Walking upright didn't happen when we came down from the trees. It happened while we were still up there, reaching for fruit at the tips of branches, balancing on limbs that bent under our weight. Every step on 2 feet was practice for a future we couldn't imagine. This Pierola is a young male, 16 years old in our time, though they measured age differently, if at all. He left his family several days ago, not by choice. The older males drove him out, as they do with all young males when they reach maturity. It's been 4 days since he's seen another of his kind. 4 days of sleeping alone, eating alone, calling out to silence. He now faces a difficult task, being adopted by a new group, and he's just discovered one. His fate will be decided here. He's been watching them for hours, counting 7 individuals, learning their movements, their relationships. That large male grooms the older female often. Those 2 young ones play together constantly. The female with the infant never strays far from the big male. Each group has its own territory, and intruders are rarely welcome. He knows this. His father taught him through example. When other young males tried to join their group, most were chased away, some were injured, one never got up again. A young female and her infant. She's picking figs, selecting only the ripest ones. The infant mimics her movements, reaching for fruits far too large for his tiny hands. Mothers are especially wary. Her eyes scan constantly, not just for predators, but for unknown males who might harm her child. Not easy to approach. Up there, an older female, grey starting to show in the fur around her face. She sits alone on a thick branch, grooming herself slowly, much easier to make contact with. Older females have less to lose, less to protect. They can afford curiosity, but between him and her stands the large male, clearly a dominant alpha male. His back is silver with age and authority. Scars mark his arms and face from battles won. His canine teeth, when he yawns, are as long as a leopard's claws. He seems calm, using a thin stick to fish termites from a crack in the bark, but it is far too dangerous to approach directly. Alpha males protect their groups violently. It's not personal, it's survival. Every new male is a threat to his position, his access to females, his genetic legacy. To be accepted, he must first be noticed without seeming aggressive. A tense moment. The young male begins with sound, not a call exactly, but a soft vocalization, something between a whimper and a hum, non-threatening, almost infantile. It says, "I am here," without saying, "I am dangerous." Has the young female picked up his scent? The wind has been carrying his smell for the last hour, but only now does she react. Her nostrils flare, her head turns slowly, searching, not alarmed yet, but alert. She pulls her infant closer. She's the most beautiful Pierola he's ever seen. Her fur shines with health. Her movements are fluid and confident. Her eyes, when they finally meet his, are the colour of amber with flecks of gold. It seems to be going all right. She doesn't call out in alarm, doesn't bare her teeth, just watches. It's another story with the alpha male. The silverback has known about the intruder for longer than anyone realizes. His ears tracked every movement through the leaves. His nose catalogued the stranger's diet, his health, his fear. Now he must decide what to do about it. He drops from his branch. The sound of his landing makes everyone look. 40 kilograms of muscle and authority. He walks toward the young male, not quickly, but deliberately. Each step says, "This is my forest. These are my trees. That female you're looking at is under my protection." He could kill him. The young male knows this. Every instinct tells him to run, but running means returning to solitude. Running means trying again with another group that might be even less welcoming. Running means possibly dying alone, so he doesn't run. He makes himself small, lowers his head, averts his eyes, shows his neck, the most vulnerable part of his body, complete submission. But for now, it's just physical intimidation. The alpha circles him, pushes him with one massive hand. The young male falls deliberately, making no effort to maintain balance. He lies still on the forest floor, leaves sticking to his fur. The alpha stands over him for a long moment, then satisfied with this display of dominance, returns to his termite fishing. The young male's first attempt ends in failure, but his mood provokes an unexpected reaction. Our ancestors possessed a new quality, previously unknown in the animal kingdom, something shared by very few species. Empathy, understanding the emotions of others. Even more extraordinarily, they are affected by the feelings of others. Sympathy, watch what happens next. It's happening to the older female. She sees the young male, still lying where he fell, and something shifts in her expression. She feels his distress, and it makes her anxious. Her hands fidget with the bark. She looks from the young male to the alpha and back again. She must act. Slowly, careful not to challenge the alpha's authority, she descends from her branch. She doesn't go directly to the young male. That would be too bold. Instead, she positions herself between them, not as a barrier, but as a bridge. She begins grooming herself, casual, as if she just happened to choose this spot, but her eyes keep flicking to the young male. She wants to find out more about him. Who is he? Where does he come from? Is he dangerous? Is he weak? Is he worth the risk of defying the alpha? Empathy is a powerful force. Without it, every interaction would be conflict or avoidance. With it, strangers can become family, enemies can become allies. It is the thing that allows us to live in a society today. Every kindness you've ever received, every moment someone understood your pain without you explaining it, every time someone helped you without being asked, it all started here in the trees of ancient Spain with an old female who felt sorry for a young male she'd never met before. Why does he need to be adopted by strangers? It relates to the social structure of Pierolas. The females never leave the group. They are born, live, and die within the same family. Their mothers, grandmothers, sisters, and daughters surround them their entire lives. They know every tree, every fruit season, every safe sleeping spot. The males are forced to leave at adolescence. It prevents inbreeding, keeps the genetic line strong, but it means every male must earn his place in the world, must prove himself worthy of protection, food, companionship, and eventually the chance to father the next generation. What do the old female's gestures mean? She's grooming the air in his direction, not touching him. That would be too forward, but showing him the movements, saying without words, "This is what we do. This is how we connect. This is how you could belong." Will he be able to stay? Not yet. The sun is setting. The air cools quickly in the forest. Moisture condenses on leaves and drips like rain. The young male keeps his distance, 20 meters from the group, close enough to be seen, far enough to run. He needs to sleep, but where? Most mammals only sleep for a few minutes at a time. A deer might doze for 10 minutes, then wake, alert, ready to flee. A rabbit sleeps even less, always vigilant, always ready, not Pierolas. In terms of sleeping, they are revolutionaries. The group is preparing for night. The young male watches, fascinated and envious. The Pierolas have come up with an extraordinary invention. They build nests in the treetops. The alpha chooses a strong fork between branches, 15 meters up. He bends smaller branches inward, weaving them together, adds leaves, lots of leaves, tests the structure with his weight, adds more branches. In 12 minutes, he's created a bed that will hold him safely all night. The females build their own nests nearby. The young mother makes hers extra large, with higher walls to keep her infant from rolling out. The older female takes longer, her movements careful and deliberate, choosing only the softest leaves. However, it takes a long time to learn how to build a nest. Years of watching, trying, failing, trying again. The only way to learn is from the mother. She shows you which branches are strong enough, which leaves repel insects, how to weave them so they won't come apart in wind or rain. The young male always slept in his mother's nest until he was 8 years old. Then he tried to build his own, close to hers. She would reach over and fix his mistakes, add support where he'd forgotten, point out weakness in his construction. He still doesn't know how to make his own, not properly. He tries, pulls branches together clumsily. They spring apart, tries again. The leaves fall through gaps. After an hour, he has something that might hold him but might not. He'll find out tonight. Up here, Pierolus are protected from predators. Leopards can climb, but not onto branches this thin. Snakes can reach them, but the nests are built where snakes rarely hunt. The leaf mats stop them from falling. Even if they roll in their sleep, the walls of the nest keep them safe. They can sleep all night without fear. 6, 7, 8 hours of uninterrupted rest. Long restorative nights, deep sleep where the body repairs itself, where wounds heal faster, where the mind processes everything that happened during the day. Thanks to the miracle of sleep, Pierolus improve their mental faculties. Sleep allows our brains to sort information. Not all of it received during the day is useful. Our brain puts some in the trash and stores the essential parts in our memory. The young male's nest falls apart 3 times during the night. Each time he rebuilds it in darkness, fingers working by touch alone. By morning he's exhausted but alive. All that while we sleep. Remarkable. Think about your dreams tonight, the strange stories your mind tells itself, the problems you solve without trying, the memories that strengthen or fade. Pierolas have passed this down to us. Every night of good sleep you've ever had, every morning you've woken refreshed and clear-headed, every dream that's given you insight or comfort, it started here. Without this invention, we could never have become humans. Our brains would have stayed small and reactive. Our thoughts would have remained simple and immediate. We would have lived entirely in the present, with no real memory of the past or imagination of the future. But sleep gave us something else. Time to become ourselves. This morning, the group has come down to the forest floor. The rain last night has brought out mushrooms, white and perfect, growing from fallen logs. Some are delicious, others are deadly. The Pierolas know which are which. The young male followed them. He keeps his distance still, but closer than yesterday. Hunger makes him brave. He wants to make contact with the group again. But how? The alpha is there, turning over logs, looking for grubs. The young female feeds her infant white mushroom flesh, pre-chewed to softness. The older female sits apart, eating slowly, watching everything. Pierolas love the sweet taste of fruit more than anything. Figs, dates, berries so ripe they burst at a touch, but they have an advantage over other species. Their stomachs can digest all sorts of food, leaves, bark, roots, insects, even small amounts of meat when they find it, or they still have their favourites. There they are, a fig tree, heavy with fruit. The figs are perfect, purple-black, some starting to split and leak sweet juice. The wasps that pollinate them buzz around, drunk on sugar. The young male has made his choice and will approach the older female. He picks the best figs he can reach, tests each one for ripeness, rejects any with too many wasp larvae inside, collects them in the crook of his arm. Out of all the different foods in the forest, some are highly poisonous. Bright berries that stop the heart, mushrooms that destroy the liver, leaves that cause paralysis, bark that makes you bleed internally. How do they know what is edible and what is poisonous? Trial and error killed many of their ancestors, but Pierolus have something special. For Pierolus, the answer is sharing experiences. Watch the mother with her infant. She shows him each mushroom, lets him smell it. This one, yes. This one, never. She doesn't just feed him, she teaches him. This knowledge is passed from generation to generation, the beginning of a culture. Each group has its own knowledge. Some know about medicinal plants that others have never discovered. Some know where to find water in the dry season. Some know which insects are most nutritious. When males move between groups, they carry this knowledge with them. The elder female can't leave her new contact. Something about this young male intrigues her. Maybe it's his persistence. Maybe it's his vulnerability. Maybe she's just lonely. Like all Pierolas, the young male knows how to give gifts. Figs, the best he could find. purple black and perfect, still warm from the sun. Juice runs down his fingers. Will she accept them? She looks at the figs, looks at him, looks at the alpha, who is pretending not to notice but is watching everything. She reaches out slowly, takes one fig, just one, examines it, smells it, takes a small bite. It's a good sign. She takes another, then another. Soon she's eaten half of what he brought. She makes a soft sound in her throat, not quite contentment, not quite acceptance, but something between. Now he can begin the conversation. The language of the Pierolas mainly consists of grooming. Touch says everything. The pressure of fingers through fur communicates mood, intention, acceptance, warning. A gentle stroke down the arm means calm. Quick scratches behind the ear mean play. Firm pressure on the shoulder means stop. Grooming and caresses say far more than words. The young male sits perfectly still while the old female works through the fur on his back. Her fingers find things he couldn't reach. Thorns, dried sap, parasites that have been feeding on him for days. She removes each one carefully. This isn't just cleaning, it's politics. However, touching females in the group risks angering the alpha male. He's watching. Of course he's watching. The alpha always watches when group dynamics shift. Every new alliance threatens the balance of power he's worked years to establish. The young male is no longer just an intruder. He's becoming something more dangerous. A member. The sound starts low. A rumble in the alpha's chest that everyone recognizes. Displeasure. Warning. The old female should stop. She should move away. She doesn't. Instead, 3 other females join her. They surround the young male, grooming different parts of his body. One works on his feet, picking out stones wedged between his toes. Another cleans his ears. The youngest female, the one with golden eyes, touches his hand. The females defend the young male against the alpha. This has never happened before. Not like this. The alpha stands, his full height imposing, muscles tensed for violence, but he faces 4 females, not one, and behind them, even the young mother looks interested. Their numbers make them stronger, 5 against 1. Even an alpha can't fight those odds, not without destroying the group, not without losing everything he's built. He makes aggressive displays, throws branches, screams his dominance, but he doesn't attack. The alpha must back down. Among Pierolas, the females have the power. It's subtle, this power, not the obvious strength of muscle and size, but the quiet control of choosing who stays, who goes, who eats first when food is scarce, who gets groomed and who sits alone. The alpha might intimidate, but the females decide. The young male has taken an important step. He has become the old female's favourite. She spends hours with him, shows him where the best sleeping spots are, which trees fruit at odd times of year, where water collects in tree hollows after rain, information worth more than strength. Now it's the female's turn to caress. Something changes in her touch. It's not grooming anymore. Her fingers linger on his neck, trail down his spine, circle back to places already clean. She's not removing parasites, she's exploring. Part of this seems like more than caressing. The young male's breathing changes. His skin flushes under his fur. His body responds in ways that confuse and excite him. He's felt mating urges before, quick and desperate. But this is different. This is slow, deliberate, mutual. What exactly does she want? She guides his hand to her hip, presses against him, makes soft sounds he's never heard before. Not the quick grunts of regular mating. Something deeper, needier. The young male has no experience of pleasure. Mating in his birth group was functional, fast. The dominant males took the fertile females when the time was right. 3 minutes of violence that sometimes produced offspring. No one spoke of enjoyment, but this female is teaching him something else. That bodies can bring joy, not just reproduction. That touch can mean more than dominance or submission. That two individuals can choose each other. To relax the atmosphere, Pierolas have invented totally new behaviour, laughing. It starts with the infant. He's been trying to crack open a nut with a stone, missing every time, getting increasingly frustrated. Finally, he throws both nut and stone away and falls backward dramatically. The sight is so absurd that a strange sound bursts from the young female's throat. Not a scream, not a call, something lighter, infectious. Others join in. The sound spreads through the group like ripple on water. Even the alpha's mouth twitches. This new sound, this laughing, it changes everything. Tension dissolves, anger fades. For a moment, they're not rivals or mates or competitors. They're just a family, amused by a clumsy infant. This development, which resolves conflicts, is not a human invention, but an inheritance. Think about the last time you really laughed. Not a polite chuckle, but real deep laughter that made your stomach hurt. That moment when you couldn't breathe, when tears ran down your face, when you forgot every problem in your life. That started here, with a baby Pirola who couldn't crack a nut. Our ancestors lived in an earthly paradise. The climate is perfect. Rain falls gently every few days. Temperature never drops below comfortable. Trees fruit in sequence, so there's always something ripe. Rivers run clear and cold. Fruit in abundance, fresh water available everywhere and in all seasons. A Pierola could walk for days and never go hungry. Every tree offers something. If not fruit, then leaves. If not leaves, then bark. If not bark, then the insects living beneath it. They don't know what starvation feels like, won't know for millions of years. The only real dangers are the predators that roam the floor of the great forest. Saber-toothed cats with fangs 20 centimeters long, cave bears twice the size of modern grizzlies, hyenas that hunt in packs of 30, giant snakes that can swallow a Pierola whole, terror birds with beaks that can split skulls. To detect them, Pierolas read the signs of the forest. Every sound means something. Monkeys shriek differently for leopards than for eagles. Birds go silent when snakes pass below. Insects change their rhythm when large animals approach. The forest is a symphony of information for those who know how to listen. They have a deep understanding of their environment. The young male freezes. Something in the air has changed. The birds haven't stopped singing, but their pitch is higher. Nervous, the insects haven't gone quiet, but they've moved up the trees. The cry of a bird alerts them, a hornbill specifically. 3 sharp calls, then silence, then 3 more. It's not their normal song, it's their alarm, the one that means death is walking below. The alarm sounds, a tiger. Not just any predator, the forest's apex killer. 400 kilograms of muscle and hunger, claws that can climb any tree, jaws that can crush any skull. It's killed 2 Pierolas from a neighbouring group this season. They have a different call for each threat. Long wails mean leopard. Rapid clicking means snake. Deep hoots mean bear. But this sharp, terrified shriek means tiger, and tiger means stay high, stay quiet, stay still. The tiger passes below, orange and black stripes nearly invisible in the dappled sunlight. It stops directly under their tree, sniffs. Pierolas hold their breath. Even the infant knows not to move. Minutes pass like hours. Finally, the tiger moves on. Hunting something else, something easier. That means the alert is lifted. Different birds sing the all clear, a woodpecker's rhythmic tapping, a parrot's lazy call. The monkeys start chattering again. Life returns to normal, or what passes for normal when death walks beneath your home. They can go back down, but carefully, always carefully. The tiger might circle back, or there might be other predators following in its wake, hoping for scraps. Pierolas live in a golden age for the great apes, but this period of prosperity cannot last. The earth beneath them is changing. Deep underground, pressure builds along fault lines. Magma chambers fill and empty. Continents pull apart and crash together. The planet's skin is cracking. Great upheaval is on the horizon. 10 million years from now, their forests will be gone. The trees will retreat, leaving grassland and desert. The fruit will disappear. The rivers will dry up. Everything they know will end. Africa is on a collision course with Europe. Moving 2 centimeters a year seems like nothing, but multiply that by millions of years and mountains rise from sea floor. The Mediterranean will drain and refill. Gibraltar will close. Species will be trapped, forced to adapt or die. Tectonic activity that will soon destroy the environment. Soon meaning 3 million years. But for a species that thinks season to season, that might as well be forever. They can't imagine such timescales, can't prepare for catastrophes they'll never see. The young male remains outside the group. He is cautious. One female's protection isn't enough. He needs more allies. The young mother still watches him suspiciously. 2 juvenile males avoid him entirely, and the alpha, though subdued, hasn't forgotten the challenge to his authority. The alpha is still dangerous. Yesterday, he killed a colobus monkey that ventured too close. Not for food, Pierolas rarely eat meat. He killed it to show he could, tore it apart with his hands, left the body where everyone could see it, a message. To be completely adopted, he needs the alpha's consent. But how do you earn respect from someone who sees you as a threat? How do you show submission while maintaining dignity? How do you become valuable without becoming dangerous? He's perhaps not the best nest builder, but he comes from a group that knows how to catch tasty little insects. His mother's group lived near a massive termite colony, millions of insects in towers of mud 3 meters tall. Most groups avoided them. The soldiers bite. The workers taste bitter. But his mother discovered something, an amazing technique the golden-eyed female has never seen before. He selects a thin branch, not just any branch, one that's straight, flexible, strong enough not to break but thin enough to fit in the holes. He strips the leaves carefully, tests the tip with his teeth. Perfect. He uses the stick to catch termites, sliding it into the mud tower's ventilation shafts. Waiting. The soldier termites attack the invader, biting the stick with their massive jaws. He pulls it out slowly. 3 fat termites attached. He eats them one by one, avoiding their mandibles. There is nothing tastier than termites, fat and protein and a strange sour flavour that makes mouths water. Better than any fruit, more satisfying than any leaf. The golden-eyed female watches, fascinated. She's been hungry for protein. Her infant needs it to grow strong. This invention is crucial. The stick is the first tool. Not the first object used by an animal. Sea otters use rocks to crack shells. Egyptian vultures drop stones on ostrich eggs. But this is different. This is modification, taking something from nature and changing it to serve a purpose, an extension of the hand which allows us to perform new tasks. The golden-eyed female tries to copy him, grabs a branch, any branch, shoves it into the termite mound. It breaks immediately. She tries again. Too thick, won't fit in the holes. Again, too thin, bends uselessly. An idea that will be invaluable to us. The young male shows her, guides her hands in selecting the right branch, demonstrates the stripping technique, the angle of insertion, the patience required. It takes her 17 tries before she catches her first termite. they have understood. Knowledge isn't just about survival, it's about improvement, about taking what works and making it better, about sharing innovations across groups, about building on what came before. The young male is now the main attraction of the group. Everyone wants to learn the termite trick. Even the alpha watches from a distance, pretending disinterest but memorizing every movement. The juveniles compete to find the best sticks. The old female asks to be shown again and again. But watch what happens next. The infant is a victim of his greed. He's found berries, bright red, growing low on a bush. His mother is distracted, learning about termite fishing. He's hungry, always hungry. Growing bodies need constant fuel. He reaches for the biggest berry. He forgot his mother's teaching and has been poisoned. The berry was from a nightshade plant, deadly to Pierolus in large doses, causes paralysis, seizures, death. He's only eaten one, but for his small body that might be enough. A fate suffered so often by the young. His body convulses, foam appears at his mouth, his eyes roll back, his mother screams, holds him, doesn't know what to do. The group gathers around, helpless. They've seen this before. Usually it ends one way. The young male recognizes this poison. His birth group lived near many nightshade plants, lost 3 infants to them over the years, but they discovered something, not a cure exactly, but a treatment. The Pierolas already have some knowledge of the curative powers of plants. Each group has its own medicinal discoveries. Some know leaves that reduce fever, others know bark that stops bleeding, a few know roots that ease pain, but this knowledge is scattered, isolated, dying out when groups disappear. This knowledge varies between groups and allows them to cure some ailments. The young male runs to a different part of the forest. He knows what he's looking for, has seen it work before, a specific plant with rough leaves and white flowers. He grabs handfuls, crushing them as he runs back. The young male seems to have some knowledge on this matter that the group does not. He forces the crushed leaves into the infant's mouth, makes him swallow. The mother tries to stop him, thinks he's hurting her baby, but the old female holds her back. Trust, her touch says. Wait, there are many different types. Plants that make you vomit poison, plants that neutralize toxins, plants that speed healing, plants that slow infection. Nature is both poison and cure if you know where to look. Plants that put tapeworms to sleep, plants covered in tiny spines that trap the sleeping worms. The infant vomits. Good. The poison is leaving his system. His convulsions slow. His breathing steadies. He'll live, weak for days, but alive. Pierolas were herbalists. Long before humans ground herbs in mortars, before shamans mixed potions, before doctors wrote prescriptions, our ancestors were experimenting with plant medicine, trial and error, death and discovery, knowledge hard-won and easily lost. The tale of this young hero may seem secondary, but it tells another, more powerful story, the spread of knowledge. One group discovers termite fishing, another learns poison treatment, a third finds water-storing plants, each innovation isolated until young males leave home, carrying information across forests, across generations. Societies that force their young adults to leave possess this quality. Genetic diversity is only part of it. The real advantage is cultural mixing, taking the best from every group, building a library of survival techniques that no single group could develop alone. The young depart with the knowledge of their group and transmit it to other groups. Think about every skill you have. Someone taught you, and someone taught them, and someone taught them, an unbroken chain stretching back millions of years to a young Pierola who saved an infant with crushed leaves. The infant is saved thanks to the young male. His status in the group transforms instantly. He's no longer an outsider seeking acceptance. He's valuable, essential. The mother looks at him with something approaching worship. The juveniles follow him everywhere. The young female has made her choice. She's been watching him since he arrived, liked his persistence, admired his courage in approaching the group. But this, saving the infant, this proves something deeper: intelligence, knowledge, the ability to protect. He must become part of the group. She approaches the alpha directly, not aggressively, but firmly, grooms his shoulder while making soft sounds. Her message is clear: accept him or lose my support. Accept him or face division in the group. It's her will against the alpha. Politics among Pierolas is complex. The alpha needs the female's support to maintain power. Without them, he's just a large male alone. They provide stability, continuity, the next generation. He can dominate through strength, but he rules through consensus. Pierola alpha males resist the pressure of the females as long as possible, but the females always win. It's not immediate. The alpha makes the young male wait. Days of tests, forced submissions, small humiliations, but eventually, inevitably, he relents. The cost of resistance is too high. The alpha consents. Change is coming, not just to his group, but to the world. The earth trembles more frequently. Trees that have stood for centuries fall without wind. Water tastes different, metallic, wrong. From now on, the young male is part of the group. The alpha performs the acceptance ritual, grooms the young male publicly, shares food with him, allows him to sit closer to the group's center. It's official. He belongs. It's a sign. Small earthquakes shake the forest daily now. Cracks appear in the ground. Steam rises from splits in rocks. The earth itself is reorganizing. The earth is moving, and the great period of climatic cooling is approaching. In just a few million years, ice will cover much of the world. Forests will retreat to narrow bands around the equator. Most of the Pierola's paradise will become frozen wasteland. Our ancestors had to leave to escape this place, and so the great exodus begins. Africa is on a collision course with Europe. The Mediterranean dries out and becomes a Dead Sea. It happens slowly at first. Rivers run backward, salt crystallizes on ancient shores, fish gasp in shrinking pools, then faster. The sea drops a meter a day. Ships would have grounded if ships existed. Whales beach themselves in what used to be deep water. Within 1,000 years, it's gone. The entire Mediterranean. Just salt flats and scattered lakes of brine, too toxic for life. The temperature at the basin floor reaches 60 degrees Celsius. Nothing survives down there. Nothing. Cut off from the water of the Atlantic, everything changes. The forests that depended on coastal moisture wither. Trees that stood since before memory brown and crack. Fruits shrivel on branches. Leaves fall in wrong seasons. The canopy, once so thick sunlight never touched the ground, opens to blazing sky. The Pierolas watch their world die. They don't understand. How could they? Their brains can grasp seasons, maybe years, not geological time, not continental drift, not the death of seas. They know only that yesterday there was fruit, today there isn't. Yesterday there was water, today mud. The golden-eyed female holds her second infant, born after the poisoning incident, stronger than his brother, but thinner. There's less milk in her breasts, less fat on her bones to make it. She needs twice as many leaves to feel half as full. Pierolas and their relatives cross the dried Mediterranean. They have no choice. Stay and starve or walk into hell. The salt flats stretch beyond seeing, white crystal deserts that burn feet, blind eyes, crack lips. The temperature kills small animals in hours. Pierolas' last days, if they're lucky. But some make it across. Those who travel at night, those who find shade in salt caves during the day, those who lick moisture from rare morning dew, those whose bodies somehow adapt to drinking their own urine. Evolution doesn't care how disgusting survival becomes. They migrate towards Africa, where the forest is spreading, notably on the vast green plains of the Sahara. Yes, the Sahara was green, rivers wider than the Amazon, lakes bigger than Superior, grasslands that ran thousands of kilometers, trees heavy with fruit no human has ever tasted, paradise if you survived the journey to reach it. The young male leads now, not officially. The alpha still beats his chest, still demands submission. But when decisions matter, when the group faces paths that might mean death, they look to him. Intelligence has become more valuable than strength. He remembers things. Which plants held water 3 valleys back, where they found grubs under bark when no fruit grew. How many days they walked without finding food before. Memory becomes survival when everything familiar disappears. Pierolas evolved and became a new species with new, more astonishing abilities. The pressure changes them. Those with longer legs survive the migrations. Those with better memory find water. Those who cooperate outlive those who don't. Each generation slightly different. Each crisis selecting for something new. Watch the changes happen. Subtle at first, babies born with less hair, fingers that grip tools better, voices that make more distinct sounds, brains that hold more information. Not evolution in textbooks across millions of years. Evolution you could see if you lived long enough. Evolution driven by catastrophe. This new ancestor was called Sahelanthropus, or Tumai. 7 million years separate Pierola from Tumai sounds like forever, but it's only 350,000 generations, each one slightly different from their parents, each one adapting to a world that keeps trying to kill them. Tumai looks different, walks different, thinks different. The skull changes first. Bigger brain case, smaller face. The spine attaches underneath, not behind. Made for walking upright all the time, not just sometimes. Arms shorter, legs longer. A body built for distance, not climbing. Further south, we rejoin the path of our lineage. 7 million years later. The descendants of the golden-eyed female made it. Generations of walking, dying, adapting, surviving. They're not Pierolas anymore, haven't been for millions of years. The boy who was saved from poison is now a grandfather 50,000 times removed. Tumai lived on the shores of Lake Chad. A lake so vast you can't see across it, fed by rivers that never stop flowing, surrounded by forests and grasslands teeming with life. Hippos wallow in shallows, crocodiles sun on banks, fish jump so thick you could walk on them, but it's different from the old forest. Dangerous in new ways. They were probably our common ancestor with modern chimpanzees. This is where the family splits. Some will stay in forests, become specialized climbers, develop their own intelligence. Others will take to open ground, become runners, inventors, killers. Both lines successful, both lines surviving. Only one becomes us. Their inventions will make them amongst the most dangerous and intelligent species on the planet. Watch what Tumai can do. They carry water in hollowed gourds, build shelters from branches and grass, create different tools for different tasks, not just termite sticks, hammers for nuts, scrapers for roots, diggers for tubers. With them, the march towards humanity gathers pace. Tumai still sleep in the trees, but have found plenty to do on the ground. The ground offers opportunities the canopy never could. Space to run, materials to build with, prey to hunt. Yes, hunt, not just termites and grubs, small mammals, birds, eggs, protein that builds bigger brains, a much more varied food supply, even if it's a little trickier to get to. Underground tubers that need hours of digging, bone marrow that requires stones to crack, honey guarded by thousands of stings, seeds protected by shells harder than teeth. Every meal is work, every calorie earned. The descendant of the young female is now a Tumai. Generations have passed, but DNA remembers. The golden eyes passed down through countless mothers. The same quick intelligence, the same compassion that saved poisoned infants, the same willingness to accept strangers. Her appearance has changed, but she has kept her golden eyes passed down through her DNA. She stands fully upright now, walks kilometers without tiring. Her hands have evolved for precision work. Her throat can make sounds Pierolus never could, almost words, almost language. Her son still has much to learn. 7 years old and helpless compared to other species, a gazelle walks within hours of birth. A chimp feeds itself at 2, but Tumai children need constant care for a decade. The price of big brains is long childhoods. An infant's education now takes much longer. Not just what to eat, but how to find it in dry seasons. Not just tool use, but tool making. Not just avoiding predators, but predicting where they'll be. Not just following, but understanding why they follow. Complex information that takes years to transfer. As well as knowing what to eat, he must learn how to eat it. Some foods need soaking to remove toxins, others need crushing to release nutrients, some need cooking. Yes, they've discovered fire, not making it yet, but keeping it when lightning strikes dry grass, carrying embers for days in hollow logs packed with slow-burning dung. Tumai use different tools for different foods, but mastering each tool takes hours of practice. Watch him try to crack a nut. The stone slips, the nut shoots away, he retrieves it, tries again, hits his finger, cries, his mother shows him again, hold it this way, strike at this angle, use this much force, 50 attempts before he gets it right. Tumai try to benefit from all nature's gifts. They eat things Pierolas would have ignored, insects other species avoid, plants that need processing, bones everyone else abandons. They're not picky anymore, can't afford to be. Survival means eating whatever doesn't kill you. The females have a greater practical instinct than the males. Not because they're naturally smarter, because they have to be. Males can fail at hunting and try again tomorrow. Females with infants can't fail at gathering. Their babies die. Natural selection favors careful, clever mothers. They imagine and invent new techniques. Weaving grass into containers. Using large leaves as rain shields. Creating baby slings from animal skin, discovering that certain clays heal wounds, innovation born from necessity, from having someone dependent on your success. Tomai have also improved this strange way of getting around, walking on 2 feet. They can run now, really run, not the shambling trot of Pierolas. Sustained running that covers 30 kilometers a day. Their feet have arches, their hips have changed angle, their spines curve perfectly to absorb impact. It has many advantages, such as being able to carry objects long distances. Water, food, tools, infants, fire, everything that makes them more than animals, hands free to create while legs do the moving. No other species has this combination. It will make them unstoppable. The descendant of the alpha still dominates the group. Power passes through bloodlines now. Not just strength determining leadership. Sons of alphas become alphas even if they're weaker. Politics has become hereditary, the beginning of dynasties. There have been considerable changes in our ancestors' social structure. Groups are bigger, 40 individuals instead of 12. More mouths to feed, but more hands to help. More conflicts, but more solutions. The mathematics of society getting complex. Now the males have the power. It happened gradually. As groups grew, physical strength mattered more. As ranging increased, males' larger bodies gave advantages. As hunting became important, male cooperation intensified. Females lost ground they'd held for millions of years. There is a hierarchy, and the alpha knows it must be respected. But it's not simple dominance anymore. Subgroups form, alliances shift, young males band together, females create coalitions. Power becomes a web, not a ladder. He often feels the need to remind everyone. Every morning, Display runs through camp, throwing things, screaming, charging at nothing, making sure everyone remembers who decides things. Exhausting for him, exhausting for everyone. It's usually the weakest that feel his force. An old male with infected teeth who moves too slowly, a young female who won't mate with him, a juvenile who looked at him wrong, violence as communication, fear as control. A society dominated by males is a never-ending series of rivalries. The alpha watches 3 young males constantly. They're reaching the age where challenges come. They whisper together, share food privately, practice fighting when they think no one's watching. The alpha is a type of ultra-dominant male who always feels the need to show his force. But force alone won't hold power anymore. He needs something else. Is this young one still alive? A juvenile male lies motionless after the alpha's latest display, struck too hard. Head hit a rock, blood pools under his ear. The group gathers, uncertain. Is he breathing? He's okay, just a bit shaken up. He moves, slowly, painfully, but alive. His mother pulls him away. The alpha has made his point. Cross him and bleed, question him and suffer. The young males who were whispering, separate, not today. The alpha doesn't just rely on strength to stay on top. He builds friendships with several allies, grooming the second strongest male obsessively, sharing meat with males who might support him, giving females first access to water, not kindness, strategy, buying loyalty before he needs it. He praises a male knowing he could be a threat one day, keeps enemies closer than friends. Better to know who wants your position than guess, better to control their rise than fight them at full strength. He sweet talks the elder female. She's past breeding age but holds influence. Other females listen to her. Her approval matters. Her stories shape opinions. Political power beyond physical strength. Her goodwill could come in useful. When young males finally challenge, she could support him or them. When females refuse to mate, she could convince them or not. When the group must decide to stay or migrate, her voice carries weight. Alliances, strategies, betrayal, conquest, and power. The young males plan in secret. Who strikes first? Who distracts? Who claims leadership if they win? Promises made that won't be kept. Agreements that last only until victory. This type of society has given rise to a new activity, politics, not the simple dominance of before. Complex negotiations, multi-level deceptions, long-term planning, understanding not just what others do, but what they might do. Chess before chess exists. The males spend most of their day plotting, while females gather food that actually sustains the group, while females raise children who continue the species, while females maintain the knowledge that keeps everyone alive. Males play power games that produce nothing but determine everything. It is left to the females to find ways to feed and educate their young. They develop their own networks, information traded for support, food shared for future reciprocation, childcare exchanged for gathering help, a parallel economy ignored by males obsessed with dominance. It's no wonder that females have become more resourceful than the males. To the alpha, ruling the group also means having access to the female. But something has changed. Females have preferences now, strong preferences. They don't automatically mate with whoever dominates. They choose, they refuse, they run away and hide when fertile. The problem with bipedalism is the male can't see the female's genitals as clearly. Everything hidden when standing. No obvious swelling to signal fertility. No clear sign of receptiveness. The old visual cues gone. Males must pay attention to behavior, to subtle signals, to rejection. How does he know if she's interested? He doesn't. Has to approach. Risk refusal. Risk humiliation in front of the group. Risk other males seeing him fail. Power shown as weak when a female walks away. Before being able to mate, he now has to check the willingness of the female. Touching her shoulder. If she doesn't move away, touch her back. If she leans in, try more. If she leaves, stop. Consent becoming part of reproduction. Choice becoming part of biology. She's not interested. Walks away without looking back, joins other females who close ranks around her, protected, untouchable. The alpha could force it, but the cost would be revolution. Females talk, females remember, females withdraw support from males who cross certain lines. The new territory of the Tumai includes water and all the food it contains. Lake Chad offers protein Pierolas never knew. Fish trapped in tidal pools, freshwater mussels, turtle eggs, crocodile eggs if you're brave enough, cattail roots, algae rich in nutrients, water lily seeds. Our ancestors are just getting used to this new element and will encounter an abundance of riches. But water brings new dangers too. Parasites that enter through skin, diseases that spread through contamination, predators that wait at water's edge where prey must come, the gift that gives and takes. The Tumai's greatest invention, however, is preference. Not just choosing mates, but choosing who to spend time with. Friendship beyond alliance, affection beyond mating. The beginning of what we might recognize as love. A male and a female can decide to get away from the group just to spend some time together. They walk along the lake shore, share food they gathered separately, sit close without touching, talk in their proto-language about things that don't matter. The luxury of companionship without purpose. For these two juveniles, it's the first time, a big step in relationships between males and females. Before there was only sniffing, then mating. It only lasted a minute. Quick, brutal, necessary. The female endured, the male dominated. Life continued. Nobody spoke of pleasure or connection or choosing. Bodies did what biology demanded. Now they can spend time together and exchange gestures of affection. These two sit by the water. He brings her shells. She examines each one, throws most back, keeps one with a perfect spiral. He'll remember that shape, look for more, build a collection, courtship through objects. The great apes begin to feel their hearts beating, their hair standing on end, physical responses they don't understand. Why does seeing her make his chest tight? Why does his voice change when she's near? Why can't he sleep thinking of her face? The great game of seduction. She pretends not to notice him watching. He pretends not to see her pretending. Both know, neither admits. The dance that makes fools of every species that tries it. She seeks his gaze. Quick glances that last exactly long enough, looking away just as he looks up, the rhythm of maybe, the mathematics of desire. He is transfixed, can't eat, can't focus, follows her with his eyes wherever she goes. The other males mock him. He doesn't care, nothing exists but her. She smells him. When he passes close, his scent different from others, muskier, earthier, something that makes her breathing change, chemistry deciding what minds haven't understood. They feel desire. not the seasonal urge to mate, something constant, distracting, a weight in their stomachs, heat in their skin, thoughts that circle back no matter what else they're doing. They give kisses and invent a new way of mating, face to face, looking at each other during, seeing pleasure, seeing vulnerability, seeing the moment when control breaks. Intimacy that changes everything. Sex becomes making love. No one has noticed that the infant has strayed from the bank. 6 years old, curious about deeper water, seen adults wade to catch fish, wants to try, doesn't know crocodiles hunt where bottom drops, doesn't know they wait perfectly still for hours. Too late. The water explodes, jaws close, the child screams once, then silence, then thrashing, then blood spreading in clouds, then nothing, just ripples, just bubbles, just gone. The little one's frail body is limp and lifeless. What surfaces isn't her child anymore. Meat, torn, emptied, one arm missing, stomach opened, eyes clouded. The crocodile took what it wanted, left garbage. Tumai are well aware of the importance of the group. Without the group, mothers can't gather while watching children. Without the group, males can't hunt larger prey. Without the group, knowledge dies with individuals. Without the group, they're just smart apes waiting to be eaten. The loss of a member is heartbreaking. Not just the mother's loss, everyone's. The child knew things, where beetles hid under certain rocks, which birds meant rain coming, how to make adults laugh. Information and joy vanished in seconds. Life on the ground does have its advantages, but there are far more predators than in the canopy. Leopards, lions, hyenas, wild dogs, crocodiles, snakes, eagles that can carry off infants. Every shadow could be death. Every rustling could be the last sound you hear. That's why Tumai still depend on the trees, but trees are becoming scarce, climate shifting again, forests retreating, grasslands expanding. Soon there won't be enough trees, soon they'll have to face predators with nowhere to run. Something strange is happening in our ancestors' minds. The young female should have left the lifeless body behind, but she refused. 3 days now, carrying her dead infant. It's starting to smell. Flies cover it. She brushes them away, rocks it like it's sleeping, makes soft sounds to it, offers it her breast. Why? The others don't understand. Death is death. The child won't wake, won't nurse, won't laugh again. But she holds tighter when they try to take it, screams if they come too close. What does she feel? Grief. The first grief. The understanding that someone who was will never be again. The weight of absence. The pain of remembering what won't happen anymore. Something happened this morning. Several unknown individuals were spotted on the other side of the hill. Not their group. Different scent carried on wind. Different calls. Moving with purpose toward their territory. Toward their water. Toward their resources. The 3 males of the group are very excited. Hearts pounding, muscles tensed. They've fought before, other males, predators, but this feels different. This is organised, this is planned, this is war coming. There under the large fig tree, another group of Tumai, 20 individuals, strong males, healthy females, well-fed children. They've been following game here, found good territory, want to stay the first time they've seen them. But won't be the last. Resources are shrinking, good territories becoming rare, groups must compete or die, share or starve, fight or flee. 2 very enticing females, young, no infants, perfect age for breeding. They stay close to their group's males but keep looking over, curious about strangers, wondering if they're stronger, better providers, worth the risk. They have been eating overripe figs and are now drunk. Alcohol hits their evolved brains harder, makes them bold, stupid. One female wanders from her group, staggers, laughs at nothing, vulnerable. This group has come here for the fermented fruits that rot on the ground. They knew about them, travelled 3 days to get here. It's a ritual. Get drunk, fight less, mate more, forget the hardness of life for an afternoon. The alpha wants the females. Not just want, needs. His females are related, sisters, cousins. Inbreeding weakens offspring. Fresh genetics means stronger children, survival of his line. He wants what he sees, but they belong to other males. Property, that's what females have become. Owned, traded, fought over. Their choice minimized, their value measured in fertility. The price of male dominance. And he is an absolute giant. The other group's alpha, 2 meters tall, 100 kilograms, arms like tree trunks, scars covering scars. He's killed before, many times. You can see it in his eyes. What can he do? Direct challenge means death. His group is smaller, weaker, but smarter maybe. Cunning over strength, brain over muscle. A cunning plan is formulating inside the alpha's head. Wait until they're drunker, more fig wine, more stumbling, then strike when they can't fight back. Not honourable, but honour doesn't fill stomachs. A previously unimagined idea. Organised murder, not hot rage killing, cold planned killing, using tools as weapons, coordinating attack, targeting specific individuals. An idea that will make us the most dangerous predator on the planet. Because we don't just kill for food or territory or mates, we kill for possibility, for what might be, for preventing what could happen. We kill for the future. The idea is to kill. Simple, effective, final, remove their males, take their females, claim their territory, become stronger through subtraction, killing one's own species, the ultimate taboo about to be broken. Other animals kill their own, but not like this, not with planning, not with tools, not with strategy. Killing with premeditation and in an organised way. 3 males will attack their alpha, 2 will block escape, others will target their strongest fighters, synchronised, rehearsed in gestures. Everyone knows their role, killing to take the goods of others, not just their lives, everything. Territory, water access, stored food, tools, knowledge, females, children if they're useful, the economics of violence. The Tumai have just invented war. It happens at sunset, the drunk group sleeping off their stupor, guards posted but also drunk, never see it coming. The first strike caves in the giant's skull, rock brought specially, sharp, heavy, swung with full force. He dies confused, was reaching for a fig, then chaos, screaming, running, blood in dust. A young male tries to fight, gets a sharpened stick through his throat, gurgles, falls, kicks dirt while dying. 2 females run, get tackled, held down. One bites her attacker. He crushes her windpipe. She dies with his flesh in her teeth. Over in minutes. 4 dead, 3 captured. Rest scattered into darkness where predators wait. They have conquered a new territory, and with it a tree full of fruit and a few females. War has its advantages. More resources. Better genetics, reputation that prevents challenges. The winning group will eat better, breed more, pass on the genes that made them killers. From now on, the alpha group will occupy this land until someone stronger comes, or smarter, or more willing to do worse things. The cycle of violence started here never stops. Ever. The young female still has a worrying connection to her infant. 5 days dead now. Meat falling off bones. Smell making others stay away. She won't let go. Lips moving constantly. Talking to it. Singing maybe. The madness of grief. She is refusing to accept reality because reality has become unbearable. Her child was going to be special. She could tell, quick to learn, first to laugh, would have been a leader, would have had children, would have continued the line. Now nothing, forever nothing. The infant is motionless, but his body is still there. What is it that lives in us and vanishes so suddenly? Yesterday he was running, learning, growing, becoming someone. Today he's matter, carbon, calcium, elements that will feed grass. Where did he go? The question that haunts every species that can ask it. Tumai are starting to understand the concept of death, not just avoiding it, understanding it, knowing it comes for everyone, seeing themselves in corpses, recognizing their future in every ending, the loss of life, the loss of a being. A person was here, had thoughts, preferences, fears, dreams maybe, then stopped, everything they were, erased, except in memory, and memory dies too. They know that their own lives will end. The young look at the old and see themselves. The old remember youth and know what's coming. Everyone walking toward the same cliff, some faster, some slower, all arriving. Faced with suffering and confusion, they gather around the body of their departed friend. Even those who avoided the smell come closer, form a circle, not speaking, just present, just witnessing. The beginning of ritual, gathering, the feeling of being in a group, united in space and time. Shared grief becomes bearable grief. Shared confusion becomes accepted mystery. They don't understand death, but they understand together. Together is enough. The beginning of a ritual, a first funeral ceremony. The mother finally releases her child, places him carefully on grass, arranges his remaining arm, closes his eyes. Others bring things, flowers, stones, leaves, cover him gradually, not hiding, decorating. One male begins digging, others join, a hole deep enough that scavengers won't find him, deep enough that he'll stay whole, deep enough that earth becomes embrace. They lower him gently. The mother makes sounds no Tumai has made before, keening, wailing, the voice of loss. Others join, a chorus of grief, music born from pain. For many years we believed that awareness of death made us human, not anymore. Today we know that we share this knowledge with many other species, including chimpanzees. Elephants return to bones of family. Dolphins carry dead calves for days. Crows hold gatherings around fallen friends. We're not unique in knowing endings, just in how much it breaks us. Awareness of the passage of time is a huge leap forward in our family history. Understanding past and future, actions having consequences, choices mattering, legacy possible, the birth of meaning in a meaningless universe. 5 million years ago, Africa began to dry out. The Sahara, once green, turns brown. Rivers become seasonal, streams become dust. Lakes shrink to puddles, to memories. The garden becomes desert. The great forests of the Sahara receded and placed pressure on the descendants of the Tumai. Adapt or die, move or starve. Change or end. The same choice life always offers, the same test that creates new species or destroys old ones. They separate into several families. Geographic isolation, different challenges, different solutions, evolution branching like the rivers that no longer flow, each branch thinking it's the future, most wrong. Some evolve along the line of the chimpanzees and gorillas, return to forests, become specialized, develop different intelligence, make different choices, successful in their way, still here, still thriving, just not us. They abandon bipedalism and invent a new way of getting around on 4 feet. Knuckle walking, more stable, uses less energy, better for climbing, better for forest life, a sensible choice, just not ours. Others evolve along the line of humans, keep walking upright, keep expanding territory, keep developing tools, keep growing brains, keep choosing the harder path that leads somewhere impossible to imagine. They are spread throughout Africa, especially in the east. The Rift Valley. where Earth tears itself apart, where volcanoes birth new land, where evolution runs fastest, where humans are being forged in geological fire. Here we find the great family of Australopithecus, Lucy and her kin, almost human, not quite, missing something crucial. The spark that makes the difference between survivor and conqueror. Between 4 and 2 million years ago, there is a great diaspora. Afarensis, Abel, Africanus, Kenyanthropus, Anamensis, Garhi, each trying different strategies, bigger teeth, smaller bodies, larger brains, stronger muscles, nature throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. Most don't. Around 2 million years ago, a new character appeared in South Africa. Something different, something unprecedented, something that will change everything. Again, he would go on to radically alter our history. Not through strength, not through size, through imagination, through seeing what isn't but could be, through refusing to accept what is. We named him Sediba. The name means fountain, source, beginning, because from him flows everything we'll become, every city, every book, every dream, every nightmare. Is he an Australopithecus or the first man? The question that haunts paleontologists, the line between almost human and human, where exactly does it fall? When do we stop being them and start being us? That question hasn't yet been solved. Maybe it never will be. Maybe there's no line, just gradual becoming, just slow emergence, just yesterday's animal becoming tomorrow's god, one generation at a time. Sediba lived in the south of the African continent. 2 million years ago, the world has changed again. Ice builds at the poles, glaciers creep toward the equator. The planet is forgetting warmth. Drought increasingly affects this part of Africa and will play a considerable role in the development of our ancestors. No rain for 7 months, then 8, then 9. Rivers are memories marked by white stones. Trees shed leaves to save water. Grass crunches underfoot like broken glass. Despite spending the majority of their time on the ground, Sediba are still dependent on the trees, but trees are dying, one by one. Roots can't reach water anymore. Bark splits, branches snap in wind, giants that stood for centuries fall in single nights. The only protection from the man-eating beasts that roam the land at that time. Saber-tooth cats have evolved too. Faster, smarter, work in pairs now. One drives prey, other waits. Death from 2 directions. They never stray too far. From the few remaining trees, from each other, from the illusion of safety, but hunger pushes boundaries, makes cowards brave, makes careful creatures take impossible risks. The dry season is at its peak, 11 months without meaningful rain. Clouds form, teas dissipate. The ground has cracks you could lose a child in, dust storms that last days. There's no more fruit on the trees. The last figs fell months ago, ate even the rotten ones, even the ones full of wasp larvae, even the ones that made them sick. Now nothing. The only food is underground tubers, hard as rocks, bitter as poison, take hours to dig up, hours more to chew, jaw muscles burning, teeth wearing down, but it's food. Barely. Roots and bulbs are difficult to find and dig out of the ground, and they need a lot of chewing before they can be swallowed. Watch them work. Digging sticks worn smooth, hands bleeding. Find 1 tuber after 50 holes. Share it among 12. Everyone's still hungry. However, that's all there is. This young male is still part of the group, though he has no female. 23 years old. Should have children by now. Should have status. But he's different. Thinks too much, watches patterns others miss. They tolerate him because he finds water sometimes. The females now live in a harem with the strongest males. Things have changed. Desperation changes everything. Females trade freedom for protection, for the promise of food, for their children's survival. These two females are part of the alpha's harem. Sisters had different mates before. Those males are gone, starved, killed, wandered off to die alone. These sisters survived by accepting ownership. When a carcass is left by the larger predators, there's only enough for the alpha and his females. Hyenas got most of it. Vultures took more. What's left? Bones, scraps of hide, teeth marks on ribs. The alpha gnaws what he can, passes remains to his favourites. A few bones to suck, but only the strongest have access. Marrow, fat inside bones, rich, nutritious, but getting it requires strength, rocks, technique. The alpha keeps the best bones, others watch, salivate, starve. That's why the females have accepted this new arrangement. Their children eat when they wouldn't otherwise. Sometimes not enough, never enough, but more than nothing. The mathematics of desperation. Less power for more protection, except there is no protection, just delayed death. The alpha can't fight drought, can't make rain, can't create food from dust. He just controls who dies first. Sadiba don't live very long. 25 is old, 30 is ancient, 35 is impossible, bodies wear out, teeth ground to nubs, joints destroyed, hearts giving up. This old female can no longer chew, 42 years old. Miracle she's alive, gums infected, jaw swollen, every bite agony, survives on water and whatever others spare. The marrow is all she can swallow. Liquid fat. Doesn't need chewing, slides down, keeps her alive one more day. But marrow requires bones, bones require carcasses, carcasses require luck. The alpha doesn't share with the elders. Why would he? They contribute nothing, hunt nothing, gather less. Just consume. Resources the young need. Evolution doesn't care about fairness. The old female would already be dead without the young male. He pre-chews her food, his saliva breaking down fibres, making it soft enough for her to swallow. Disgusting, necessary, the beginning of cooking without fire. By chewing her food, he keeps her alive. Why? She knows things, remembers when water last came, where roots grow deepest. Which clouds mean rain? Knowledge worth more than strength in drought. Empathy at work again. But it's more than that. She was kind to him once, when he was young, shared food she didn't have to share, remembered, repaid. The economics of kindness. This extreme scarcity of food is driving our species to extinction. Look at them, ribs showing, eyes sunken, children with swollen bellies, hair falling out, cuts that won't heal. They're dying, all of them, just at different speeds. If they don't find an alternative, they will all die. The math is simple. Calories burned exceeds calories found. Every day weaker, every day less capable. Spiral towards zero. They must adapt or become fossils. Another failed experiment. Another branch pruned from the tree of life. Another almost that wasn't quite. Fortunately, Sadiba possesses a highly developed brain and an array of tools and techniques. Digging sticks, carrying bags, cutting stones, knowledge of seasons, memory of better times, but none of it enough. Needs something revolutionary. Inside the brain of one of them, a revolutionary idea is taking shape. The young male, always watching, always thinking. Notice something. Vultures circle before predators kill. Follow them, find meat. If the meat won't come to them, they will have to go to it. Insane, suicidal, leave safety for open ground where everything hunts, but staying means certain death. Going might mean faster death or might mean life. Over there, vultures, dozens, circling, landing, taking off. Something big died, recent, might still be meat. Probably isn't, probably too late, probably death waiting. The alpha's female wants to take the risk. Tired of watching her children shrink, Tired of empty promises, tired of slow starvation, fast death seems better. At least it's something. The young male is ready too. Been thinking about this for months, calculating distances, watching predator patterns, planning routes, waiting for someone else to say it first. None before them have tried this because everyone who tried died. That's how evolution works. Failures don't get remembered, only successes become ancestors. How can they be so foolish? The alpha thinks. Tradition thinks, fear thinks, but hunger doesn't think. Hunger just demands, and hunger is winning. Neither of them has ever been so far from the trees. 500 meters feels like forever. No branches to climb, no leaves for cover, just grass and death and vultures laughing. The desire to eat meat outweighs the dangers of the savannah. Strange how hunger makes philosophers of us all, weighing existence against sustenance, choosing possible death over certain death, the mathematics of desperation again. The brave ones who took this reckless decision could not have known the profound effect it would have on the history of our species. How could they? They just wanted to stop their children crying, just wanted full bellies once, just wanted to not die today. A fresh carcass, an abundance of meat. Wildebeest killed this morning. Lions ate their fill. Hyenas took their share. But there's more, so much more. Enough for everyone, enough for weeks. They've never seen so much. Meat everywhere, on bones, between ribs, in skull, on ground where blood pooled. More than they could carry, more than they could imagine. The first pieces they choose are those that contain fat. Instinct guides them. Fat means survival. Fat means energy. Fat means children living another month. Grab it. Stuff it in mouths, in bags, in hands. The tastiest. After months of roots and tubers, meat is impossibly good. Salt, iron, protein. Their bodies remember this, were designed for this. Just forgot how to get it. Fat is so rare in nature and yet so rich in energy and important for the digestion of animal proteins. 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. Carbohydrates have 4. Fat stores better, travels better, keeps you alive longer. The perfect food for desperate times. The Sediba pick out the parts that contain the most. Brain, 60% fat. Marrow, pure fat. Organs, surrounded by fat. Eyes, floating in fat. Everything others leave because it's hard to get. The marrow, the entrails, the brain, the tongue, and the eyes. Disgusting to think about, delicious to taste. Nutrition that will change everything. Brains that will grow, bodies that will strengthen, children that will survive. The 2 explorers are back, their arms laden with the most wonderful food. They can barely carry it all. Dropping pieces, picking them up, laughing, crying, probably both. The group can't believe it. Meat, real meat, enough meat, food for everyone. Even the weakest, even the old female, even children pushed aside. Everyone eats tonight, everyone lives another day, everyone has hope. What a success. The young male is hero, the female is hero. They did the impossible, went into death and brought back life. Songs will be sung. If they knew songs, a solution for the future of the species? Maybe. If they can repeat it, if they can improve it, if they can teach it, if predators don't learn their patterns, if. However, the alpha is not ready to digest this humiliation. His female led this. His female challenged his decision. His female showed him wrong in front of everyone. Power is perception. Perception just shattered. The female is part of his harem. Property. His property. That went where he said not to go, did what he said not to do, succeeded where he would have failed. She has betrayed him. In his mind, in his rules, in his need for control, Betrayal must be punished, must be public, must be severe, or others will follow her example. Sometimes the females do swap males, when males die, when males fail, when males can't provide. But this is different. This is revolution. This is questioning everything. However, a possessive alpha like him can't lose one of his females. It's a threat to his power. If one leaves, others might follow. If females choose, males lose control. If control is lost, what's left? Just another male, aging, weakening, alone. The young male can do nothing. She's not his, never was, never could be. He brought meat but has no claim, no status, no strength to fight, just watches. Here, might is right, always has been, always will be, until it isn't, until brain beats muscle, until cooperation beats domination, but not today. He humiliates her in front of everyone. Hits her, throws her down, stands over her, makes her submit, makes her small, makes example of her. Others look away, remember their place, punishes her and isolates her from the others. No one can groom her, share with her, speak to her. She exists but doesn't, present but absent. The cruelest punishment for social creatures. The old female has nothing to lose. She's dying anyway. Weeks maybe. Days, probably. What's he going to do? Kill her faster? She approaches the punished female, sits beside her, starts grooming. She's the only one that can come to her help. The alpha won't attack the elder. Bad optics, shows weakness, attacking someone who can't fight back. He fumes, watches, plans revenge later. The harshness of this life has not favoured the females. They have lost a lot of their power to the benefit of the large males. But watch what happens next. The meat changes everything. The first effects of the meat are immediate. Energy, clarity, strength returning, children playing instead of lying still, adults talking instead of conserving energy, hope instead of resignation. It's easier to digest than roots, and the body feels lighter. No more hours of chewing, no more jaw pain, no more stomach aches from fibre, just satisfaction, just fullness, just enough. Meat gives the sensation of well-being and the sound of sleep, deep sleep, without hunger pains, without worry about tomorrow, without dreams of food, just rest, just recovery, just peace. The second effect will take hundreds of thousands of years, but it starts now, in cells, in chemistry, in DNA, making small decisions. Less energy consumed by the stomach means more energy for the brain. Brains are expensive. 20% of calories. Can't afford big brains on roots and leaves, but with meat, with fat, everything becomes possible. Thanks to that, our mental capacity will improve and our bodies become taller and slimmer, generation by generation, centimetre by centimetre, neuron by neuron, becoming something new, something unprecedented, something that will conquer the world. Although physical force still dominates, it won't be enough to adapt. The young male proves this. He survived by thinking, by observing, by risking based on calculation, not strength. Brain is beginning to beat brawn. A new generation is coming whose ingenuity will prove the decisive advantage. Smart will survive where strong won't. Clever will eat where powerful starves. Imagination will find what tradition misses. Sadiba already used rocks to break and crush roots, but he has a new thought. If rocks can break roots, can they break bones? If they break bones, can they be improved? If they're improved, can they cut? If they cut, what else becomes possible? The young male has an idea that could change their lives, maybe even the future of his species. Not just finding carcasses, taking them, before hyenas, before vultures, before competition. Cut them, carry them, control them. If he can cut the carcasses of animals killed by big predators into smaller pieces, they can carry them to a safe place. No more eating in danger, no more rushing, no more sharing with scavengers. Take what's theirs, go where safe, eat in peace. For this, they will need a range of new tools to cut and slice the flesh and break the bones. Not just rocks, shaped rocks, sharp rocks, rocks that fit hands, rocks that serve purposes. The beginning of technology, he shapes them out of a rock. Napping, hit one rock with another, at the right angle, with right force. Flakes come off, sharp as anything in nature, sharper. These shards are as sharp as razors. Touch the edge carefully. It parts skin like air, cuts bone like butter, opens possibilities like nothing before. It will take thousands of years to master the technique, but it starts here, with need, with hunger, with someone willing to fail until they succeed, with someone who sees what could be in what is. This is perhaps how we became truly human, not walking upright, not big brains, not empathy, but imagination, seeing what doesn't exist, making it real, creating tomorrow from today. The story accelerates from here. Sediba becomes Homo erectus. Erectus spreads everywhere, masters fire, creates culture, becomes Neanderthal in Europe, Denisovan in Asia, Floresiensis on islands. Then Homo sapiens appears. Different, not stronger, not bigger, but something else, something unstoppable, imagination unleashed. 100,000 years ago, Sapiens walks out of Africa, meets the others, all those other humans, competes, wins, not through strength, through stories, through cooperation, through believing in things that don't exist, gods, nations, money, justice. Everywhere Sapiens goes, the others disappear. Not always violence, sometimes absorption, sometimes just being outcompeted, but always Sapiens remains. Until today, when only one human species exists, but that one species contains multitudes. Every skin color, every eye shape, every hair texture, every body type, the diversity of dozens of species concentrated in one. 7 billion dreams descended from a female who dared to leave the trees, from a male who saved a poisoned infant, from lovers who chose each other, from warriors who invented war, from a mother who grieved, from scavengers who risked everything for meat. You are here because every one of your ancestors survived, every single one. Back to the beginning, back to the first cell, an unbroken chain of life connecting you to everything that ever lived. When you dream tonight, you dream with a brain built by millions of years of other dreams. When you love with a heart that learned to feel in ancient forests. When you imagine with the same power that turned apes into gods. You are the very first man and the last, and everything between. You are what happens when matter learns to think about itself. When the universe opens eyes and asks why. This is our story, from tree to stars, from fruit to philosophy, from surviving to asking what survival means. We are the only human on Earth, but our presence shines with a million fires.